Hi folks, and welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod, coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering. My name's Alec Anderson. I'm speaking to you outside a kind of inappropriately sunny Ibrox after Rangers chucked away 2 points in the first Old Firm game of 2023, 2-2 with Celtic in this SPFL Premiership match at Ibrox this afternoon. The police and the stewards have just started clearing away. Thankfully, they were all in the background for a second there, making it look as if it was that Danny Dyer video, celebrating the dangers of an Old Firm game. The only danger you can see for this brutal close-up is that I'm about one pie away from a heart attack, and there's a danger that the Rangers support at large may harshly judge Michael Beale and the players for letting the win slip today. I think 2 minutes from the end of normal time that Celtic actually scored the equaliser. But I think there was a lot to be positive about. Long term, I think we can see the previous 3 or 4 games under Michael Beale, there's been preliminary sketches there. You can see clearly the outline, what he's trying to create long term here, and the players have been following that outline, that pattern. But there's been clearly, they've shown a bit of character to carve out wins in at least 3 of these games up till today. Their legs are still stuck in that Champions League group stage, which was just too much for them. It was too condensed, and the quality gap was too pronounced. And their heads, I think, are in the kind of domestic slump that we get into towards the end of Gio's reign. So they've been slowly pulling themselves out of that. And I think today we actually saw transformations don't happen overnight, but we saw an actual transformation through the course of the game today. When a goal down after 5 minutes. Absolute catastrophe. I'll let you guys judge it. I've not seen the pictures back on television. Things are a bit over emotional at that stage of the game anyway, after the desecration of a minute's silence for the victims of the Ibrox disaster by the visiting support, and the reaction from some of the Bears round about. But what was pretty clear was that we gifted the ball to Celtic 2 or 3 times, failed to make tackles, and they basically kind of walked the ball right through the middle of us and right into the net for the worst possible start. But we then saw Rangers slowly kind of grinding their way back into it. A lot of howls of derision at various points, but this is one team above all that we hate losing to and we hate playing poorly against. But you have to give them credit. Celtic are in a winning mode, they're in that rhythm, and as we know just from 55 season most recently, it's almost as difficult to get knocked out of that kind of rhythm as it is to claw your way back into it. But we saw Rangers clawing today. We saw them grinding their way back into the game. By the time, like kind of 39, 40 odd minutes, we've got our head in our hands because Alfredo's missed yet another sitter. He missed a couple of sitters today. The back of your mind, you're starting to realise, well, we started the game by being garbage in our own box. We've moved on to being, a bit kind of garbage in midfield. We're berating like Lundstrom and Kamara for not getting into the game properly, giving the ball away. Now we're berating them from being rubbish in the Celtic box. That's progress right in front of you, and I think everybody in the crowd, as well as Michael Beale and the players themselves, used half-time very well to take that on into consideration. And by the time the team came back onto the park in the second half, they and the crowd were united in a renewed desire to turn this whole thing around. And we don't just mean today's game, we mean the kind of 2-horse race in Scottish football. It's time for us to go back in front of that. And the great thing was, we'd also realised that when you do get at Celtic, when you actually have a go at them, they start giving the ball back to you. They're no great shakes at the back, they're no great shakes defensively. All they are is up for it, they're organised and they're sharp. And we seem to have shaken away those cobwebs that I was talking about at the start of the second half. Ryan Kent gets the ball out on the left hand side, takes a wee touch, and just the minute it left his foot, you knew he was just curling it from the right hand side of the box right round Joe Hart and into that top opposite corner. Place goes crazy, and you could feel it was one of those goals. It wasn't just about equalising against Celtic in a random match in a kind of standard fashion. This was a statement goal. We've gone behind early doors to Celtic, a Celtic team who basically wiped the floor with us back in September, August. They beat us 4-0 at Parkhead. We weren't going to lie down this time. We were coming back, and I think the energy from that goal then just basically helps us score the next goal. We overran Celtic for a good 5 minutes at that point. Sheer energy, sheer adrenaline, sheer positivity and belief, which is what we've been lacking since it started to go wrong for Gio. It was great to see that coming back. Fashion Sakala, he comes from Zambia apparently. He gets brought down in the box. He was running them ragged. Fashion was absolutely tremendous that second half particularly. And I point out Alfredo's misses, the couple of misses that he had towards the end of the first half. He still did a great job there. Positionally, he did a fantastic job, and that's what it was all about. It's not letting the mistakes get on top of us. It was just ploughing my way back in, clawing my way back in, and that's how real progress over the course of a season and longer is actually achieved. You have to take these kind of things on the chin and keep fighting, keep making sure the overall momentum is forward going. I mean, James Tavernier stuck that penalty right into the top bin. I thought he'd missed. I don't know about you guys, if when I was sitting I thought it was going high and wide. Kind of reminded me of the penalty he scored, I think, against Red Star Belgrade in that Europa League run, where he slams it almost worryingly accurately into the top corner. The place goes crazy, and it took me about 2 minutes to realise that I've been predicting 2 each for this game since about sometime yesterday, when I was still recovering from my New Year drinking. So I spent the rest of the game, like the rest of yous, a bit worried that it's either going to be we score a third goal and we win this game, or Celtic are going to come back at us. And I think we gradually started running out of steam. Malik Tillman was absolutely tremendous today once he got going. Like everybody else, John Lundstrom, once he got going, tremendous. Tav, he took one in the face. He was heading away things at the back post. He's getting blood dripping down him, and he's playing fantastically. Again, I don't really know what happened with the Celtic equaliser. The one thing I do know is that we took off Malik Tillman, we brought on James Sands with 5 minutes to go, and that seemed to send out the wrong signal. We already knew at that point there was so much more than 5 minutes to go. You knew with all the kind of delays for VAR decisions to be ratified that there was going to be, at least the 7 minutes injury time that we got, and that perhaps trying to plug it up wasn't the right move. It was attacking Celtic that had brought about us being in the lead. It brought about our best chances, and attacking Celtic is a good way of keeping Celtic in their own half. It's the best form of defence against this mob, against this particular Celtic team. But James Sands come on, it was the wrong time to plug it up, and he was the wrong man to plug it up. At one point it looked like a catastrophic mistake when he kind of dilly-dallied on the ball and got it taken off, and we thought they were going to break on us in numbers, but they ended up, they equalised anyway. I don't even know if it was Sands' fault. It just seemed to they couldn't clear the ball properly, and eventually they put it into the back of the net. I'm up the other end of the stadium, guys, say hearts in mouth. This is a reaction pod, not a proper post-match analysis, but we'll get that discussed in our next main pod. But it was pretty gutting. 2 minutes in, 2 minutes of normal time left when they equalised. But you're thinking maybe we could pull it off, but a part of you was also thinking maybe Celtic could pull it off as well. So a draw, absolutely not what we needed in terms of winning this year's title, and let's not start saying that we need to progress slowly, that we need to have this kind of slowed momentum so it's all more real, so we've got time to breathe it into the system and get it into the bones. We could have done with that win today, but the way it came about, the way the draw came about, it's painful. If it'd been us that'd been doing the equalising late on, I think there'd be a lot more positivity, but there should be plenty of positivity about today. It's always gotten to lose an Old Firm game like that, or to give away the chance of winning it, but that's just it. We didn't lose it. We did get a draw. We've not let the gap at the top extend, and I hope we can now take the positives from today. We've got another 2 Old Firm games coming up in the league race this season, and we might well have, hopefully we will have, a League Cup final, and it might well be against our separated brethren from across the city. As I said, and I hate to have to mention this, but it's going to be talked about, the minute's silence for the victims of the Ibrox disaster, pretty much desecrated by the visiting support today. This is the third time this season that we've experienced something like this. We had the Aberdeen fans coming with a massive banner saying "Kill all Huns," which was lovely, and during a minute's silence for the Queen, the Dundee United fans in that little corner between the Govan and the Broomland were singing a song celebrating the death of the very same monarch. It's getting a bit much, it's hard to take, but this has always been the way. This is Scottish football, it's utterly toxic. At the end of the minute's silence today, there was a quick burst of the Billy Boys from a few punters dotted round the stadium, and that seems to make it all nice and neat. That's all right. We're othering them on a religious basis, they're othering us by behaving like kind of human trash when it comes to remembering people who died in the stadium they're currently at the fixture they're currently at. But it's not, it's football fans. We're saying things on Twitter and on the internet about the child abuse cases at Celtic Park, and they are celebrating the death of fellow football fans today. It's got too much. I'm not going to judge this from a them and us point of view. I'm not going to judge it from a puritanical point of view, because I've been young enough, I've been drunk enough, been stupid enough years ago to do and say things of much the same kind of ilk. There's guys in there today who'll grow up and will regret behaving like that. But there was a lot of them in there that are far too old and to behaving like that at all. And I would have a word with the Rangers fans and guys in our support who almost desecrating the minute silence as well, because they can't wait to abuse Celtic fans for doing the same. I know it's difficult, but you've got to concentrate. You've got to make sure that you hold true to yourself in these kind of instances. It's almost like, because it's like VAR. A lot of people saying, what's the point of having VAR when Celtic are just going to shout about it and bleat about it? That is the point, that you mustn't let people put you off treating things correctly. And that was really inappropriate today, and it's just got to stop, folks. Both sides. This kind of garbage has just got to stop. And so has this video, because I'm starting to go on far too long. Listen guys, we'll be back with a main pod. I don't know who's on it, sorry, but we'll get this, I think, the next couple of days. But we're certainly going to have a main pod out on Gersnet to properly analyse this match and look at where we go under Michael Beale. So don't be too downhearted tonight. Go and have yourselves a little late New Year drink. The Rangers are definitely on the right path. And thanks for listening to me, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thank you.